they call me that or how I got that nickname, but it just stuck. It's how nicknames work. They describe something about you or something that you commonly do. So what would God's nickname be? How could you possibly describe him in one word or phrase? Looking back in Exodus chapter 3, Moses was on Horeb, the mountain of God, when an angel of the Lord appeared to him as a flame on a bush. And the Lord commanded Moses to go before Pharaoh and demand to let his people go, the Israelites. Verse 13 records Moses' response. Then Moses said to God, "Indeed, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them?" Looking back over the years, there have been hundreds, if not thousands of books written to describe who God is, but none can manage to do as good as God did himself in verse 14. God said to Moses, "I am who I am." And he said, "Thus you shall say to the Israelites, I am has sent me to you." I am who I am. These 5 simple words describe everything without saying anything. They show that he is our creator, our protector, and our provider when we need him most. Going back to Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, which we all know. But reading verses 26 through 30, God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." And God said, "See, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be for food. Also to every beast of the earth, every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food." And it was so. Not only was God our creator that created us, he was our creator that granted us dominance over all his other creations, which allows us to live freely how we want under his commands, ultimately proving God not only to be our creator, but our protector. For example, when Moses was leading the Israelites out of Egypt, after Pharaoh had told the Israelites to leave, and after Pharaoh had changed his mind to pursue the Israelites kind of ran into a difficult situation. They were being followed by the Egyptians and were headed right to a dead end. Then the Israelites reached the edge of the Red Sea, when God commanded Moses to raise his rod and part the sea in chapter 14. Doing this, God protected the Israelites, giving them a way to flee the situation. But not only did God protect the Israelites by parting the sea, it says that in verses 26 through 29, the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come back upon the Egyptians, on their chariots, and on their horsemen." And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and when the morning appeared, the sea returned to its full depth, while the Egyptians were fleeing into it. So the Lord overthrew all the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Then the waters returned and covered the chariots, the horsemen, and all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after. Not so much as one of them remained. But the children of Israel had walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them, their right hand and on their left. God completely wiped out the Egyptians that were attacking the Israelites. But God is even more than that. He's our provider when we need him most. When Abraham was about to sacrifice Isaac in Genesis chapter 22, God provided a ram to be sacrificed instead. When the Israelites were hungry out in the wilderness in chapter 16 of Exodus, God made it rain quail at night and manna in the morning. When the Israelites cried out for water in Exodus chapter 17, God commanded Moses to strike the rock with his rod, and water came pouring out. In the New Testament, God provides us with something much better. His one and only Son, Jesus, who came into the world and died on the cross for everyone's sins to be taken away, giving us a chance to reach heaven today. In Revelations 1:8, God says, "I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, who is, who was, and who is to come, the Almighty." God is the I am we need. He was our creator, he is our protector, and he will always be our provider. There was never a time that you lived and God didn't. He is, he was, and he will always be there. So I ask, is God truly your I am?